Yeah,
monitors on there.
the monitor's probably.
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, how do I know if it's working?
That.
Like, how
I
do I
don't
know if
know.
this? Okay.
I haven't been up here. I mean, at the station in a few years. I think back then we had to switch between cameras.
There was something about. I didn't see yesterday. See. Oh. Chat is disabled for this laptop.
Gasp.
Wonder if that's no. How to enable it? Yeah, I could just talk into the void and hope for the best. Well, let's see. Testing, testing, testing. Good morning, curling fans. Welcome to Sunday action at the Francis Dykes Memorial Bonspiel here in Broomstones, Wayland, Massachusetts. We have B and C semifinal action on the sheet tonight, or this morning. The winners of these games will play in our next draw in the final, get piped on the ice, and hopefully win some hardware and take that home. Our feature sheet this game, a C semifinal game between the home team, Broomstones, or Orange Pants team, and another local team, Cape Cod. I'm Maggie Woolsey. I'm here joining you, commentating on this game. Excited to be here. Already getting into second stones here. It looks like we've had an incorrect rock color thrown. Won't be too big of an issue for this team. Running down the lineup really quick on our Broomstones team, affectionately known as Team Orange Pants, we've got the lead, Drew Gormley. The second, throwing fourth rocks, Tyler Holloway. Our vice slash third, Jonathan Hickey. And the skip, throwing second rocks, Daniel McGurk. You may be wondering, why would they be named Team Orange Pants if their pants are not orange? I guarantee you the pants are orange. Maybe just change the saturation on your computer a little bit. It's probably a you issue. On our Cape Cod team, our opposing team, our lead is Alex Sinatori. Our second, Jamie Constantino. Third and vice, Dan Smith. And our skip and fourth, Jonathan Bashford. Jonathan Bashford, also a member of Broomstones here. Looks like I may have spoken too soon on that lineup. The Orange Pants team has been throwing, this is full disclosure, a team I'm very familiar with. I've played with them in league many weeks. Our Thursday night league here at Broomstones. They have been playing their throwing order most recently with Dan, the skip, throwing second rocks, and Tyler throwing fourth rocks. However, it looks like Tyler has just thrown. So it's looking like they've switched their lineup a little bit back to their skip throwing last rocks. We'll see if that's the case. A stone coming into the house here from Jamie Constantino. Looks like a come around behind the center line guards. That's over curling, not quite the line they wanted. Gonna promote that red rock. Double promote there. Puts Broomstones in for shot rock, and unfortunately it is pretty buried to them. Tyler's saying he can see half, so they might find themselves a bit concerned about the hit there. Looks like they're going to try and guard. They're running without the hammer here, but this is a team that loves to steal. They love rocks in play. They love to get their points as often as possible, get to the center, get this game started pretty aggressively. So that's what they're going to do here. They're going to put up a center line guard and hope to protect their rock in the top 4 foot. Guard coming out now from Tyler Holloway. Great sweep from lead Drew Gormley there to get some curl in at the rock at the end. It doesn't look like it quite finished how they wanted it to, but from my vantage point, it looks like it's a pretty well-guarded rock in the 4 foot. So much so that Jonathan Bashford is going to elect to take out some of those guards on the center line. If you're interested in other games going on during this draw, we do have all of our sheets being streamed live. You can watch those at any point. Switch to those games, streamed separately on our YouTube channel. They will not have commentary, only this game will, but I will be updating the sheets as we go on, keeping action updated on all sheets, but focusing mainly on this Sheet 2 game. John Hickey with a come around on his first. Sweepers seem to think it's pretty heavy. We are out pretty wide, so it might die down a bit at the end. And it does nicely. Getting some good curl out of it. That's a great shot to sit. It looks like they are sitting 1 and 2 now. So this is going to be a good amount of rocks here for Team Cape Cod to deal with. Looks like they're going to want to peel those centers again, try to make a play at the shot rock. These overlap centers are a big problem for Cape Cod. Not only are they guarding shot rock, but as they are overlapped, they're not available for any sort of tap or run back for Cape Cod should they need them. Big over curl. Wicks their own, unfortunately, doesn't promote it to shot, but it is now second. I like this call. This Yellowstone is probably the most dangerous rock on the ice right now for Team Broomstones. They're going to elect to hit it and roll under those staggered centerline guards. Rolling a lot out of hand for John Hickey here. Bit of an unfortunate result for them here. They lose that stagger on the center line, as well as pushing that yellow a little bit closer. Cape Cod here, unfortunately making the exact shot Broomstones was just attempting. We'll likely see a come around from Broomstones here or a guard. It looks like they're electing to come around. Though, this is plenty of ice. I think they might just be splitting the rings here. I didn't see an indication of broom placement to say what the desired shot call is. But I think they've got options. They're just looking for the force here in the first end. They're set up well for that. Well for the steal, in fact. But in order to secure his 1 point here, all Jonathan Bashford would need to do is draw to the forefoot. Looks like they might be trying to take away an easy shot for that. Block that draw path. Swooper's on it, out of hand. I'd say that's a pretty well-made shot. That does certainly block off the draw path for Team Cape Cod. Makes their life a bit harder. Jonathan Bashford coming down now for his first of 2 rocks. Bashford in his info card has indicated to us that he's been curling for 3 years and started after the 2018 Olympics because he thought it would be a nice fun sport to do with very little cardio. And boy was he wrong. Looks like they're electing the tap here on their yellow to run back into the shot red rock, and they're very close, getting a good curl by the guard, and they just over curl into the red rock. It's an unfortunate miss, but they do still have that tap available to them. Broomstone's now looking like they're debating how they can best take away that shot from Team Cape Cod. They have a couple of options here. They could guard that same shot that Bashford just played. They debated for a little bit the hit. The risk is, of course, making the same exact shot Team Cape Cod was attempting. And it looks like they're going for the draw here. Sometimes the best guard is a second counter. However, it would leave likely the shot for 1 available unless you're covering the pin here. Been having fun. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. This rock looks a bit wider than they wanted and perhaps deeper. They're going to go to make it curl, try and see if they can get closer to the forefoot than the yellow rock, and it does look like they are. They are sitting 2, possibly 3 at the moment. However, it does not take away that shot Bashford had previously attempted, though doesn't look like it's going to matter to them. That's not the shot they're going to attempt. Looks like a hit and roll over. I'm not sure you can get one out of this here, but it certainly would cut down the damage. I would say this is a good shot if they're thinking Broomstones is sitting 3. It's definitely a safer call than attempting the tap again. And I am joined now by commentator Matt. Say hi, Matt.
Hi, everyone. Hi, curling fans. Thanks for joining us on the last day here at the 2024 Dykes. Very exciting action here. We'll have 2 draws this morning. This is the semifinals in the B and the C event. And coming up at, I believe, 11 o'clock, we'll have 11:30. We'll have our finals featuring all 4 events in their conclusions. So a lot of exciting action coming up. And be great to kick off the day with some semis here. And we have, I believe we're on skip rocks here in the first end.
Yeah, this was our hammer here. Unfortunately, it doesn't get the curl they wanted, and it rolls out to leave Broomstones with 1, possibly 2 points. I think we might go to a measure here.
Yes.
Looks like we are measuring.
Does look like a measurement. So 2 local teams here, obviously. Team Cape Cod is represented by Jonathan Bashford, who is also a Broomstones member. So I think we'll see a lot of friendly banter. And I believe this is also a rematch of a game that took place either during the first or second round.
That's true. This was a second round, or first round B-side matchup, I believe. First round B-side matchup on Friday morning. Team Broomstones, Orange Pants, did come out victorious in that matchup. In, I believe, either tied in the 8th end or it went to a skips rock, but it was a very close battle.
Yes, I believe it did come down to skip rocks, and Broomstones did pull that one out.
So this is a pretty evenly matched set of teams. I think we can hope for some good action this morning.
Absolutely. And the measurement is currently underway. Dan and Jonathan as the vices taking the duties of this measurement.
All of our other games going on this morning, it looks like, have completed their first end. An update on Sheet 1, Colonial versus Virginia, another Seaside semifinal. Virginia getting a big 3 points in the first end. And our measurement has concluded.
It has. We'll hopefully see the teams hang the score. But for now, we're a little bit up in the air, whether or not it's a 1 or 2 point lead for Broomstones.
Yeah, a big steal for sure. A well-played end for them to get their rock in the 4-foot, get it in play, and keep it well guarded the whole end.
Drew Gormley looking to throw a center guard. Good to see all 4 members of Team Broomstones out there, as Tyler Holloway, I know, had a bit of a injury yesterday. Looks like he's out there and looking pretty healthy to me this morning.
Yeah, he did end up leaving our featured game yesterday morning about halfway through, but he is back and ready to play.
Great to see. This rock did slide into the rings, but Team Cape Cod choosing to ignore it and throw. Or actually, apologies, they are playing the hit.
Team Cape Cod.
It is early. It is early. Excuse me. This will come over, make contact, and will it go out of the rings? It will spill out. So, successful hit.
Good save to get just enough curl there to get that rock out of play. Broomstone's going to put that back. They are not sure if they're up 1 or 2, but they are, despite their score, gonna go for another semi-aggressive end. Keep rocks in play, get a rock on the center line out here.
Absolutely. Drew again, looking to throw a center guard.
That first rock out of Cape Cod, that rollout, probably disappointing for Drew Gormley as well. I know he is very excited to throw a lead hit whenever possible. So.
Well, this one is getting close to the rings, but will stop short. Nice shot from Drew. And of course, it has protection under the 5 rock rule. Cape Cod will look to throw something towards the wings, either a corner guard or a rock on the side of the 8-foot. This is the lead for Team Cape Cod, Alex Senatori, a second-year curler out of Dennis, Mass, on the Cape. And this rock does glide in to the rings, top 12. And Dan looking to play a hit and flop under cover, under his center guard. So it does look like with Tyler coming back, they did another adjustment to their lineup. Tyler is throwing second rocks. Are they going with Dan throwing last rocks?
They have been, I believe they have been having Dan throw last rocks this far.
Mm-hmm.
John Hickey sliding from last rock thrower into third. They do make contact there and spill the red.
Mm-hmm.
So nice sweep of Drew Gormley to keep that line for them enough to get that yellow out of play.
Yep, so an empty house, and Bashford again looking to keep the play towards the wings, which is a fine strategy with hammer. Rock gliding, the second for Cape Cod, Jamie Constantino. Looking like it does have a lot of steam and will slide out the back. So the house continues to be empty.
That's an unfortunate miss there for the Cape Cod team. Hoping to get that rock into the rings and play on the corner there and keep Broomstones hitting them, keeping that play away from that center guard. This unfortunately does give Broomstones an opportunity to get in behind that center guard they've placed.
So they did hang the score, and it is a 2-spot for Broomstones in that first end. So a big steal too. Tyler looking to come around that center guard. Sweepers seem to like it. Drew is on it. But does look like it's gliding. Might have some quick ice out there for the first draw this morning. Will come into the back rings and settle in between the 8 and the 12 foot. But is behind cover. And will be difficult for Team Cape Cod to remove.
Not the most dangerous rock that they were looking for, but of course does pose a threat. It is fully buried, and they're gonna elect to freeze to it here and take it kind of out of contention.
Yeah, this seems to have a lot of weight. This does have a lot of weight. It will get by the guard and make contact and will spill out of the rings. So not sure if that was the call there, but did seem to have plenty of weight, at least looking like control weight. But so we are on Vice Rocks now with Jonathan Hickey throwing the intern draw. Again, sweepers are off this, seem to be indicating that it is a bit heavy. And it will go back of the house, Bashford on the sweep, and it will go out the back.
It's unfortunate miss keeps the rings entirely open. Looks like Bashford debating a little bit if he wanted to break that guard, keep the blank alive. He's elected against it, but that would not be a bad option at all for him. We're early in the game. They're only down 2. This isn't necessarily the best setup for your 2 points, especially if you don't make this come around perfect. A blank would be a perfectly fine outcome, but a 2 definitely still could be in the mix here, especially if they make this come around pretty nicely.
Absolutely. So now Dan Smith, the vice for Team Cape Cod. Try to attempt this in-turn draw. The weight looks a lot better from what we've seen in the first few rocks here. Is going to settle in the top of the house. The sweeper is trying to get some late finish to get some cover, but I believe it will be fairly exposed. Dan, though, considering the out-turn draw, and it looks like that's what they're going to play. Okay, so after second thought, deciding to hit this yellow rock.
Yeah, come around there, a pretty aggressive call that would have been. It would not be a very long run back at all for Cape Cod to get that rock into play.
So Hickey looking to play the hit. Indication is it's a bit wide, out of hand. Drew trying to carve it over, but I believe this will miss on the wide side. Unfortunate miss for Jonathan Hickey. We saw a few misses from him yesterday on the hits as well, so maybe just not having the most confidence in that shot.
I mean, this being 5 and unders, I would dare any commentator to find me a vice who has not missed a hit this week.
No, understood. But plenty of game left for sure. For Jonathan.
For sure.
But this does give an opportunity for Cape Cod to sit 2. Dan playing the out-turn draw.
This rock having a lot of curl to do. Cape Cod is not going to want to leave these stones grouped and leave Broomstones any kind of double to get out of a 2 spot here.
But this is looking pretty nice. It will settle on the tee line, and really a steep double that is pretty unlikely to come off. So a nice shot there from Dan. Sure. Nice pair to put 2 in the rings. And Dan McGurk now on skip rocks. Looking to hit that shot rock and maybe get a flop under cover. So Dan looking for the hit here, looking like he's taking normal hit ice, about 8-second hog to hog. Rock coming in, sweepers are on it, and it will make contact but roll out of the rings, but not a bad shot at all. And Team Cape Cod is still sitting the 1. And looks like Bashford might try to come towards the 4-foot. I wouldn't have minded him throwing where Dan just threw his rock, kind of side of the 8-foot on the tee line to separate these rocks. But is choosing to come towards the middle.
Yeah, he likely feels placing another one in the wings there. It's a bit late in the end for that, worrying a bit too much about the come around from Broomstones taking their pretty okay setup for 2 here out of play for them.
I think the only concern here is if you leave a nose double. But nonetheless, Bashford will try to draw into the 4-foot. Really just put this in the rings and, ask Dan McGurk to make a double. Definitely not the easiest shot to make by any stretch.
For sure not. And that yellow rock not tucked necessarily, but that guard is a factor. Certainly something that would weigh on your mind anytime you're lining up any sort of
Absolutely.
double for Team Broomstones here.
Without question. This rock has very nice weight. It'll come into the rings. It'll click on the top yellow, but actually roll to a pretty nice place. So Cape Cod is sitting the 2. McGurk looking like he will hit shot rock. And I think we'll try to get that flop towards the center line. Taking a bit more ice, maybe trying to keep his shooter around with a little bit quieter weight. Definitely not a bad option. Indication might be something board to control.
Take for the roll. This looks like good ice for board.
So this is Dan McGurk's last in the second end. Looking for a board weight hit on shot rock. This rock has some curl to it, but the line looks pretty good from here. Will make contact with shot rock and roll over. It may have rolled a bit too far for Broomstones' liking, so I believe this will be a control weight hit for Team Cape Cod and Jonathan Bashford to get there too.
Yeah, it was a great sweep to hold that line there. Just a couple millimeters of extra curl beyond the roll that they were looking for.
Yeah, definitely great weight there from Dan. Very controllable for the sweepers. So, Jonathan Bashford, looking from the hack view, can see most of this red rock with his hammer. Sweepers are on it for line. Big sweep here. This is going to over curl and wreck on that top red, and it will be another steal of 1 for Team Broomstones. Unfortunate miss there. And Broomstones will take a 3-0 lead going into the third end. Looking at other sheets, on sheet 1, Team Colonial and Dylan Wright versus Team Virginia. Virginia did take an early 3 spot in the first end, and Colonial was forced to 1 in the second. So it was a 3-1 game for Team Virginia. On sheet 3, Team Nashua out to an early 3-0 lead over Nashville. And on sheet 4, we have a tie game between Plainfield and Hartford, as all games are now in the third end. So, going into the third end here, first rock from Drew Gormley is a guard, just right of the center line. And Team Bashford looking to come around that rock.
Yeah, this Broomstones team great at putting rocks in the center line, controlling that 4-foot zone, and Bashford not having any of that anymore. He's saying, I want to get to the 4-foot first. I want you to deal with my rocks.
Yes.
Unfortunately, a pretty good weight here, maybe a couple feet short.
A little short.
Just too much curl earlier than they wanted.
Line was real good. Just came up a little short for the lead, Alex. And Dan with the hand in the air. Trying to remember what that meant.
Is that an
as I look
open
at
hand
Maggie.
or a closed hand? I'm not.
I think it was open.
Open hand.
Yeah.
Oof.
Is that
I
the
haven't
come
seen that
around?
one before.
Is that the come around?
I guess that's
Classic
the
come around call?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm struggling to imagine, what else he would want to play here.
I think so. Yeah,
as a
either
team.
that or another center guard, but
That would be extremely aggressive out of the Broomstones team. But
Yes.
I could see them doing that.
yeah. Yeah. Broomstone's definitely in the driver's seat early here with the 3-0 lead. I still think it's funny calling them Team Broomstones when they're facing Jonathan. I'm still trying to get
another Broomstone skip.
It's another Broomstone skip that I know pretty well personally. We do have some bias here in the booth this morning with us commentators having pretty, good experience playing with both of these skips.
For sure.
So.
In fact, I myself was just out in Alaska about 2 weeks ago with skip Cape Cod team, Jonathan Bashford here, as well as the lead on the Broomstones team, Drew Gormley.
Yes.
Both great players.
Yes, we're hoping for just a tight game that comes down to the wire, and it's all we can hope for this morning.
Doesn't get the curl that they wanted there. Won't be able to make it, unfortunately.
Fortunate
Tough miss.
Miss there for Alex. But Team Broomstone sitting 1, back 4, with some cover already. So opportunity here to maybe throw what I've been labeling this weekend as a pseudo guard. Maybe something top 12 on the center line, and really just clutter up the front as you have your potential scoring rock already in the forefoot. 5 is the indication from the sweepers, which would be settling around the top 8, which would be a pretty nice shot. Line looks pretty nice here. Drew looking to push it over. I think it'll be a little shorter than the initial indication, but be right on the center line and be a nice tight guard. Bashford's gonna have to deal with that rock.
The guard situation getting a little scary for Team Cape Cod here. That's something they're going to look to have Jamie Constantino deal with.
Yeah, Jamie definitely very apt to play the upweight and is on this rock and will remove several guards.
Incredible shot by Jamie. Really get 3 of those guards really farther away from the center line or out of play.
Yes. Jamie can definitely bring the heat.
Yeah, incredible shot to open it up there.
Great shot. Definitely a character if you get to know Jamie. I was speaking to him yesterday about his fun fact about him being bit by a shark. I mentioned the other day, if it's in a PG location, maybe we can show that on the broadcast, but I realized not quite the most PG location. I'll leave that up to the fans' imagination at home, where that might be, but definitely a character if you get to know Jamie. So looks like another guard attempt here. That'll come in pretty nicely and be a nice tight guard to the rings and get pretty close to the center line. So I think we're going to see another peel attempt.
For sure. Drew Gormley sweeping that hard to get it as close to the center line as possible, and I wouldn't say that there's a port there at all for Cape Cod to come through and hit that shot rock.
Yeah.
Definitely a stone Cape Cod has to deal with.
For sure. So once again, Jamie looking to throw the upweight at the in-turn side. A little narrow. Alex looking to push it over. But we'll find out if there's a hole here, maybe. Just whipped off the yellow rock, but almost finding the hole. But does remove the rock that Broomstone just threw up. So definitely a good result. Yeah,
pretty lucky wick too. Not only do they get that rock they were trying to move out of play, but they, in the process, move that yellow rock a little bit further. Yeah. So Broomstones, were they to place a rock in the same position as their last stones, would likely leave a port.
Absolutely. And Jonathan Hickey now looking to either replace the guard or maybe come into the rings. This is coming up a bit narrow, but we'll get around that yellow guard, come into the rings, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say what we've been saying all weekend. Sometimes your best guard is second shot.
True. Yeah, they didn't get the guard they were looking for, but sitting two here, one a little bit buried under that yellow stone is a good setup for that force.
Definitely buried. Um,
This is not a situation where you need to go hard for the steal, so getting a second counter in there definitely a good plan B as well.
yeah, great result there. Dan Smith on Vice Rocks looking to play a hit and roll potentially. And the line is really nice on this rock. Will make contact, roll over very nicely.
It's a great shot by Dan.
Very nice shot. And it will sit back 4 and shot rock. And the view from the hack, you can probably see about, let's say 50% of that rock, but probably need to play it with pretty quiet weight. And because it is back 4, Team Broomstones does have the option to just freeze to this rock, and that appears to be the call. Indication from Drew's thinking that it's a guard, but I think it has plenty of weight.
It looks like it's getting there to me.
I think so too.
The freeze here is a pretty aggressive call out of Broomstones. Hitting it certainly the safer option, and it looks like they might get a bit of a tap here.
This is a nice shot. This is going to come in, tap the rock, but does roll a little bit over towards the center line and is going to be exposed.
That's a great shot. They certainly would have wanted to get a little bit more curl out of it if they knew they were getting a bit of a bump there. They certainly would have wanted to get a little bit more curl, stay more in front of that yellow.
Yeah.
Leave the hit a lot more difficult. Bashford can hit this red on the nose or on the inside, avoid the jam, and sit two for sure.
Yeah, and Dan just sort of threw this shot, so should have a good idea on line and speed. Rock is away. It is a bit outside right now, but does have nice quiet weight. This will come over and get pretty close to nose and sit right there. Good throw, but is exposed for Team Broomstones and Dan to play this hit, and maybe potentially a double.
Double available for sure, and that would certainly get them out of any trouble of multiple point score here.
Absolutely. Definitely lining up the double. From here, it looks like about a half a rock on the high side or the outside side as we look at it. So that will be the call. To the elbow, which typically means control weight. Might be different for Team McGurk.
Yeah, my memory's fading a little bit here. I know that's not typically the sign they use for control, but I don't remember if they have another meaning behind that hand sign.
Okay.
Maybe they just also use that for control.
Potentially. But rock is out for Dan. Line is looking pretty good.
A little tight, we get good curl on these rocks.
Yeah, it should hit the outside of the rock. It will make contact with that other yellow, but does jam. I think just with the quieter weight there, did not get as much action on that other yellow.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of an undercurl. They were looking for a little bit more there.
Yeah. But nonetheless, does make contact with that other yellow, does move it to back 4. But Team Cape Cod is sitting shot rock still with Jonathan Bashford to throw his first. And the call has been made. Looks like either an out-turn draw into the rings or just the straight guard is the call. Can't really see much of that red rock that's in the rings for Team McGurk. You can probably see about half of it, but would be a tough shot to make to not jam. So going for the out-turn draw, maybe a freeze attempt. But this rock is hanging out and potentially might wick off this high yellow guard. It does wick, come towards the center line, and will act as a pretty nice guard. Sitting top 8.
Yeah, that's an okay outcome for them there. It's guarding the shot rock for sure. Still in the 8-foot, keeping their multiple point score alive here.
Yep.
They're definitely going to want to come out of this end with multiple down 3 here. They're
Yes.
definitely looking to not get forced here. Broomstones is going to have to get a nice draw behind that rock that was just thrown if they do want to get that force.
Yes, I believe that is the call.
The double available though.
Double is
Correct?
available.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I think the only risk there is if you were to jam on your own red, you'd likely leave still 1 in the rings for Cape Cod, and would leave a pretty easy deuce opportunity to just draw into the rings. So I think that's the concern for McGurk. So I like this draw call actually. Even if you come up a little light, you make the score of 2 very difficult.
For sure. I wouldn't say playing something on that redstone is impossible to push it back.
Yeah.
You wouldn't need to get it out of play, only to the 12-foot.
Yeah, so unfortunately this does slide a bit deep and will lie for 4th shot. So it doesn't do much, to be honest. Team Bashford looking at a potential shot for 3 to come across this high yellow guard, this 2 guard with quiet weight to tap that red back. Maybe a potential run back as well.
The run
But
back
that is
there for
tough. Yes. But looks like Team Bashford will settle for the outturn draw to score there too.
sure. Yeah, the hit on the red, although definitely possible with a quiet weight, just push that back to top 12.
Difficult.
It is difficult.
Yes.
It's very precise weights. You do,
Yes.
of course, risk hitting on the high side and giving up another steal.
Exactly.
It's very risky.
Exactly right, Maggie. And I think that is the danger of giving up another steal. I think is too high right now, and Broomstones or Team Cape Cod does have the opportunity to draw in and get their second point that way. And on this line, if they come up a bit narrow, they can even maybe play that tap on that rock that Bashford threw on his first. So last shot here in the 3rd end. Team Cape Cod looking for their second point. Boy, this seems to have very little handle. And I think
Looks like it's lost handle.
I think it has
might be going
lost
the other way
handle.
now. Yeah.
And just a mistake there, and will hang off to the side and not come into the ring. So that will be a force for Team Cape Cod, and Broomstones will get the hammer back with a 3-1 lead going into the 4th end. Looking at other sheets, Team Colonial able to steal in the 3rd end to cut the lead for Virginia to 1. It's a 3-2 game for Team Virginia. On sheet 3, Team Nashua once again with another steal, and now lead that game 4-0 over Team Nashville.
The Nashua team is a tough contenders. I'm not sure if it's
Yes.
the same lineup, but at least 2 of these curlers are part of the team that won the Big Spiel out in Minnesota last year.
Yes, I believe that is correct. And some of the members from Nashua also did very well at the Worcester Cup this past year. And then on sheet 4, we are playing the 4th end here, but the 3rd end has not been hung yet. So still showing a 2-2 tie as they play the 4th end. Going back to the featured sheet, we had a center guard nicely placed by Cape Cod lead, Alex Senatori. And Drew Gormley attempting to draw to the wings. Line is really nice on this rock. I believe it'll come up a bit short of the rings, but act as a very nice corner guard.
Yeah, that's a nice spot for them. Definitely a very usable stone for their 2 here, guarding the 8-foot.
Absolutely. And Team Bashford with what I would call an interesting call on this rock, looking to maybe draw around that corner guard.
Yeah, that is an interesting call.
Yeah.
Having just thrown the center, you would think you'd want to use that. And this is a lot wider than the broom.
Looks like he might get the intern come around anyways. Line is a little tight. It will crash on that center guard, but does raise it into the rings and sort of in the area that Bashford wanted the original rock to be made.
I would even call that a better call, or a better result for them. They are further into the center and choking off that corner guard for Broomstones there.
Does come into the rings though, so does allow this rock to be hit for Drew.
And they do leave another corner guard, but this is still, it's a rock that Broomstones has to deal with if they want to use.
Yes, I agree. So we're going to see probably some rocks in play here, given the corner guard setup. Drew playing this pretty quietly, and I think will unfortunately wreck on this corner guard, and will roll his shooter into the back house, and will spin into the back rings as a biter. But Cape Cod still remains shot.
It's an unfortunate result there.
Yeah, a bit quiet wait there. Not sure if that's probably wanting to keep his shooter with that shot was the thinking, and the shooter did stick around, albeit back 12, but hanging around. Team Bashford looking to draw in here with Jamie's first. Bashford calling off the sweep, as this does have a good amount of steam to it. Will not get a wick, but come into the house. And roll back 12, but is good enough, at least for now, for second count. Another hit attempt here for Team McGurk. Tyler.
Yeah, the Cape Cod rock that was just thrown is sitting shot rock, but it's much too deep in the rings to be what Broomstones is going to want to do with here. They're looking for the hit and roll under.
Yep. This rock goes away and is going to make contact with this yellow, and
you could get the
just over curls for that. Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. But does roll the shooter off to the side, out of the rings, but in play. And Bashford's looking for something top of the house.
Yeah, that rock in the back 12, not dangerous, not something you would want to guard.
Right.
Would leave a big come around. So definitely wants to be in the rings here on this pseudo guard attempt.
Pseudo guard. Gotta love the pseudo guards. This is coming over though pretty rapidly.
Towards the corner.
It is, and I don't think it. Let's see if it has enough steam to get in the rings. It's close. Wicks off, and I believe is just short. So that is not touching the paint as of right now. And these rocks are actually set up pretty nicely for Team Broomstones to come around and sit on the side of the 4-foot, even potentially into the 8-foot. And I think Team McGurk will be very happy with that, to take the play away from the center with hammer.
Yeah, after that wick, Dan McGurk was chomping at the bit to put the broom down for the come-around attempt.
Absolutely. So Tyler looking to make this draw. Line looks pretty close, and the weight looks pretty good too. will clear. Maybe some late finishing here from Drew to try to get under cover.
And unfortunately, a missed line call there. They were calling to keep it straight for a while.
Yeah, just didn't get the finish that maybe we were expecting.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of rocks over curling on that line.
Yep. So this rock is pretty exposed with the outturn side. And Bashford is calling for the hit for Dan Smith, the vice. Line looks pretty good on this rock.
You don't need to make any sort of roll under here necessarily. They're just going to look to make contact and stay in the ring, because that's going to be tough.
Some hand signaling from Bashford to invoke the curling gods to move that rock over. Never seen that work, unfortunately, but
Sometimes the rocks listen.
sometimes they do.
Yeah, use anything available to you.
Absolutely. So, does make contact with that rock, but will roll out. Team Cape Cod is still sitting the one, back 12. And the indication from Jonathan is that this rock might be a bit heavy, but is getting close to these corner guards, so need to be on this to get by. And will get by, but will it hang around? It will. In the back 8, and that rock will be totally buried. But because it did slide behind T-line, an opportunity to potentially freeze to that rock for Dan Smith. We have a few Dans out there.
A couple of Dans.
Yeah.
We've got some more Dans floating around in the warm room too.
That's right. Yep. So Dan Smith looking to play this out-turn draw. Rocking the hoodie. So you know he means all business. This rock is coming in. Looks like it has plenty of weight.
Yeah, they're going to want to hope it cuts over or push it for front here, try to make contact with that red one.
Yep. I believe it's not going to come up for them, and maybe even push their yellow further back, but they still are sitting second.
Yeah, they were fortunate there that it wasn't enough weight to double out that red. Leave Broomstone sitting 2 there. That's fortunate. Broomstone's only sitting 1.
Yep.
But they do have that same come around. They've been trying to hold the last couple of rocks, or they could, of course, split the house, sit there too.
Yeah, I like the come around again to try to upgrade this shot rock to above T-line would be really nice around cover. But it seems on this line it's really struggling to finish, so not the easiest shot to play right now, it appears. The line looks really nice on this rock.
We're just a little short of weight here. I think
Yeah,
it's actually
just a bit light, unfortunately, but shouldn't do too much damage. Will stay short and not promote that yellow in.
This unfortunately makes Cape Cod shot a bit easier here. They're going to try that come around again, but they no longer need to make that freeze in order to keep Broomstones from making a play on their yellow.
Yeah, because that rock kind of is a bit closer to the center line. That rock is actually going to help Team Cape Cod try to really limit the scoring area with this draw attempt and potentially get a rock in there to potentially steal.
A steal would be huge for them here. Not necessarily something you go into an end, into the fourth end down only 2. Not necessarily something you go into the end with in mind, but definitely if it's there on your skips rocks, that'd be huge to go for.
Yeah, I think if you're Team Cape Cod, steal would be great, but I think also a force isn't too bad either.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Still pretty manageable. Only a 2-point deficit, but draw coming in for Team Bashford. Seems to have plenty of line, kind of hanging out, and the weight looks a bit up actually as well. This will slide slightly behind T-line, back button, So weight was actually pretty close on that. Just kind of hung out a little bit, but does have a bit of cover. Well, not quite too much cover, but at least will force Dan to throw the out turn. And Dan does have an option to remove this rock if he'd like, but seems to be opting for a tap. Definitely more of a finesse shot.
For sure, they're going to want to play enough weight to push that yellow beyond their existing red stone.
Yes.
Keep themselves sitting 2 here. I think the tap good. If you're looking, you might have to throw a draw on your last. You maybe want backing. It's not necessary though.
Yeah, this is definitely a viable option. You might see a lot of other players decide to hit this rock and try to roll under, but if the tap is made perfectly, this will be a nice shot.
Out pretty wide. You do have to worry about tapping it into your own.
Yes, this is hanging a bit. It does have good tap weight. Does tap this rock back and will tap it out to sit 2, but does leave shot rock pretty exposed.
Yeah, fortunate enough, a good sweep to get enough curl there to, although they do jam, it rolls off and does leave them sitting 2.
So definitely a big call here for Bashford. Definitely the more aggressive call, and I believe that's what they're going for, is the outturn draw to try to outcount that back 4 rock for McGurk. If he is able to make this shot, he is definitely limiting Broomstones to either a score of 1 or possibly a steal. But also does have the option to hit and roll under cover. Obviously, it's a little bit more difficult to manage your shooter in that situation. But I believe we are going to see the outturn draw.
Yeah, this is a precise shot wanting to get full 4, but of course so is a hit and roll. So
Yes.
it really just comes down to
Preference.
what Bashford's more comfortable with.
Absolutely, preference. They are worried about the line here early, as this is coming towards the center line. The line actually looks pretty good now, and it's about weight. It will get by, but will it stop in time? Does glide a little too far, but will sit for second shot. And that rock landed in a position that cannot be removed easily. So will be a draw for 2 for Team McGurk. And does need pretty close to full 8. With potentially some backing, either on his own rock or if it curls over the center line, maybe to what Bashford just threw. But a good try from Bashford and Cape Cod. The line was really good, just a couple feet heavy. Dan McGurk asking for a touch more line on this draw. And this would be a pretty big deuce here for Team Broomstones. Always nice to get these bonus points when you have the chance.
For sure. Having a shot for 2 here is a great result for Broomstones.
The rock is away, and the sweepers are on it pretty close to immediately. The line looks real nice, and the weight should be close. It is by these guards. Now just trying to nurse this into the house. Does it have the weight? Wow, that really checked up at the end, and will only be the score of 1. And the sweepers and I honestly thought it was going to be all there, and then seemed to check up really out of nowhere.
Yeah, sweepers definitely can't be happy with themselves there. They were on it the whole way, and kind of second guessing themselves at the end there.
Yeah, but in their defense, I really thought it was gliding pretty well, and then I don't think it caught anything. It just may have hit a dead spot and
It could have. I'm
just, just came up a little light.
curious to know what the hog-to-hog time there would have been.
Yeah. So, but nonetheless, Broomstone still scores 1 and is in control of this game. They will take a 4-1 lead going into the second half of this game, into the 5th end. Quickly, other sheets. Colonial, continuing the stealing trend.
This is also a team that loves to steal. Well, having played with these players a lot as well, not sure if we love to steal, but definitely more likely to steal than to take 2 with hammer.
After talking to Dylan for several hours yesterday, definitely a self-described second half player.
Second half player, second half skip.
And kind of getting that second half swing earlier, but definitely a big start from Virginia, big score of 3, but consecutive steals for Colonial, now a tie game, 3-3. Sheet 3, Team Nashua continuing to lead over Nashville, but Nashville was able to get on the board in the 4th end with the deuce, and now trail that one 4-2. And on sheet 4, Team Plainfield with a score of 2 in the 3rd end. Hartford with a force of 1 in 4, and now Plainfield will lead that one 4-3 going into the 5th end. All games are currently underway in the 5th end and second half of the game.
Yeah, that first rock from Drew Gormley, I didn't see the exact result of. It's not in play, either hogged or through. Mm-hmm. Cape Cod coming in, and Drew gets exactly what he's probably been wanting all game. His lead hits.
Drew is going to have a hit opportunity on the intern side. Looking like control-ish weight to me.
I believe that was the call.
And this is coming over very nicely. Sweepers are on it. This is going to get a good chunk of the nose. A lovely nose hit for Drew Gormley. 4 out of 4 on the stat sheet. And if Drew likes to hit so much, maybe you should consider playing second.
I think he likes where he's at.
Okay, fair enough.
Just, a little variety every now and then.
Fair enough.
Playing lead.
Absolutely.
Being in position, I've played myself. I've played lead on this exact team in Drew's place. You tend to throw the same shots over and over. It can get a bit repetitive.
No, absolutely.
You spice it up a little bit.
And Drew, a very confident drawer as well, so good all-around player. Alex makes the hit right back and spills over to the side of the 8-foot.
Yeah, that's the exact roll they were looking for, trying to get things over to a wing.
Absolutely. So nice shot there from both leads, proving leads can hit too. Very confidently. So appears as though we're going to see a bit of an open game here as we're going to have a series of hit and sticks here. I think that is the result of a couple lead rocks coming into the rings early. And I think if you're Team Broomstones, you're pretty happy to play an end like this.
Absolutely. Happy to play the hit game, get a blank possibly.
Yep. And another successful hit and stick from Tyler.
Yeah, Broomstones does have to be careful here. We are early in the end. If we keep nosing, this could eventually be something Cape Cod could come around.
Yeah, definitely a great observation there. Jamie coming on the intern side, inside out. Should get a good amount of finish. He threw what I'd call pretty quiet weight hit here. And we'll roll towards the center, biting the button. So we're seeing a nice little hitting exhibition here in the 5th end.
Yeah, heading slowly closer and closer toward a blank end.
And these ends tend to go pretty quickly, so this will help this game hopefully get to an 8-end situation. Team Broomstones was able to only play 7 in their last game, but did win on on skip rocks. Tyler looking for another nose hit, and this looks really nice. We'll get a good chunk of the nose and just roll slightly over to the forefoot. Bashford content to nose hit this as well. Maybe get a little flop over to the wing would be nice. Second for Jamie. Definitely needs to curl here at the end, but it is with that nice quiet weight. Some more hand gestures from both the skip and Jamie, but Jamie does stick around in the back 12. Not a bad idea to move that rock around and move it on a different line for this hit attempt.
Yeah, they were just looking to nose or even flop a little further in the wing that they were already on. Rolling the other side brings you pretty far back house, but it's not something Broomstones is right now going to look to freeze onto.
And unfortunately, Jonathan Hickey is going to miss this hit attempt on the narrow side, and Cape Cod now with an opportunity to split the rings and set up their deuce. So Dan Smith here, looking to draw to the other side of the house. Bashford looking for something top 12. Wouldn't mind to see it a bit deeper for him. And this rock is looking pretty nice. Sweepers are not on it, but has all the weight to get to the forefoot, it appears. And that's a real nice rock from Dan.
You need to freeze to it.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting call. They are up 3 here.
Aggressive call. Aggressive call from Dan McGurk. I think potentially playing something that might be a little more comfortable for Jonathan at this point.
Possibly.
Maybe a
Jonathan
soft
is a
weight hit.
strong hitter.
Yep, totally. But needs to be said, has struggled a bit so far. This draw attempt is looking real nice. And we'll get to the nose and punch it back. And that's actually a very nice shot from Jonathan. Nice bounce back shot. Does sit shot rock.
Yeah,
Or actually, yes, shot rock.
It's shot rock, but a very easy hit for Cape Cod here to hit and flop over a bit. It's hit free.
Yes, definitely an opportunity for that, without question. So Dan Smith playing the intern hit. Looking like control weight to me. And this has really nice line. If it comes over, will make contact and roll out. It appears does make contact with their back yellow, but does sit the 2 in the back of the house and pretty flat.
It's an unfortunate rollout there. It was a pretty good opportunity for them to set up a big end.
Absolutely. And some options here if you're Team McGurk. The aggressive call would be the freeze. But also, given the scoreboard, probably in a position where if they eliminate yellows, it's not going to do them much harm. So I think that is the call, is just the nose hit on that back yellow. An exchange of hits would lead to a deuce for Cape Cod, but Team Broomstones, I think, would be not happy with that, but not too unhappy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the Broomstones team, never happy giving up any point of any kind, no matter how far ahead, but you can't be too disappointed up 1 with hammer in the 6th end.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, no one likes giving up points. That's definitely the case. But nose hit here is the call for Dan McGurk on his first skip rocks. Right on the center line, so we haven't seen much finish on these rocks. This line is a little outside. Trying to get it to curl up at the end, and it will flash, unfortunately, and still leave Cape Cod sitting the 2. And Bashford with a chance to draw into the rings and sit 3. I think once again, just the lack of finish on the center line, getting to Team McGurk there. The release looked just fine from here. Just didn't get that late finish. Bashford tightening up his broom to the middle of the 8-foot. Looking to leave as much separation as possible between these 3 rocks. So I think drawing to the right side of the house is a fine call. So Jonathan Bashford with his first rock here. Looking for something T-line on the other side of the house, but sweepers are right off this rock. Concerned that it's a bit heavy, but is curling now. So I think it should stop. We'll go back house, but stick around. But potentially leaves a double there for McGurk if he wants it. But the first indication was a freeze. Talk about aggressive.
Yeah, I would say the freeze it's only looking more and more tempting as the end goes on, especially with that Cape Cod rock being back 8, biting back 12, back 8.
All three.
All 3. Yeah. The freeze, since those 2 Yellowstones are relatively close together back there, coming up a few feet light is definitely gonna worry the Cape Cod team about any kind of jam if they go for the hit.
Without question. So, big turning point in this game right now, the outcome of these 2 next rocks. Definitely the safer call would be to probably try that back double, but Dan McGurk looking to freeze to probably that center line yellow rock. Really anywhere above it leaves potential jamming opportunities as well. So a lot of good places to put this rock if you're Dan McGurk. But a crucial shot here in the 5th end. Throwing the out turn draw. Looking to get to that back yellow. Line looks pretty good. Sweepers are on it for weight, I believe. Looks like it might come up a bit short to freeze.
Over-curling a bit.
Over-curling. Will sit in the 4-foot. But as mentioned, Bashford will attempt the hit and try to hit the right side of it to avoid a jam. But a big opportunity for Team Cape Cod. An opportunity to score 4.
Absolutely. 1 or 2 rocks width over-curled from where Broomstones would have ideally wanted that. Again, you don't necessarily need to be fully frozen. Of course, that is absolutely ideal, and it would take away any gigantic end from Cape Cod here. But being closer towards that much wider space between those 2 yellows, easier, a little bit easier of a takeout.
So the rock is away here for Jonathan Bashford. Out-turn hit. Will come up with this quiet weight. Sweepers are on it. It looks pretty close. It's going to hit the right side of it, and it's going to stick right there.
Great shot.
A big shot of 4 for Jonathan Bashford and Team Cape Cod as they take 4 in the 5th and will now take a 5-4 lead going into the 6th end. Great shot there and a clutch shot. So that will turn this game around. As we have a chance here to look at other sheets, Team Virginia able to finally score with hammer in the fifth end, but it is only a force of 1 as they will take a 4-3 lead over Colonial. Colonial with hammer as they play the sixth end. Team Nashua, a 5-2 lead over Team Nashville. The battle of the ends. And
Nash game on sheet
yes,
3.
absolutely.
Fun fact, the city of Nashua very nearly named Nashville itself.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah.
I did not know
the
that.
local population at the time felt Nashua, as it is a native word, was just too native for them, unfortunately. But I won out in the end, and it's a good city, good name.
Great fun fact there, Maggie. And to round out the action on sheet 4, Hartford with a big score of 2 in the fifth end, and they take a 5-4 lead over Team Plainfield. So tight games across all the sheets this morning. Great to see. And we'll definitely keep an eye on these other games and potentially do some live look-ins. But every time we've checked in, they've sort of been in the middle of the end. So, and we have obviously a very tight game here on our featured sheet. So, lead rocks have come in. A yellow guard thrown up from Team Cape Cod is a bit outside of the center line, but still in a good spot.
Set pretty wide. Jamie working hard to curl it over.
Yes. Broomstones drew to the button, and an unfortunate miss there from Alex, the lead of Cape Cod, flashing that hit attempt. So big opportunity now for Broomstones with one directly on the button.
Yeah, they're throwing the center line guard here with hammer. Not something you'd typically see out of a team, but this is a strategy that the Broomstones team has played a lot and is very comfortable with.
Yes, and I think given the position of their rock in the house is not a bad option. So sometimes you need to deviate from the book strategy.
Absolutely, and an important thing they're definitely going to be thinking about here is just scoring in this sixth end. You, of course, want your 2, but getting a point here and keeping the game close, tying it, hopefully forcing in the 7th and getting the hammer home in the 8th would be big for Broomstones.
Yeah, having hammer twice in the last 3 ends is always a nice position to be in. So I think you're absolutely right, Maggie. A score of 1 even. Definitely want to get a multiple, but we'll have the opportunity to get the hammer back in that all-decisive 8th end. In-turn draw here being thrown from Jamie, looking a little light, and it will be all over these top guards. Ooh. Getting some real late finish there off the center line. But Team McGurk still sitting the 1 and with a good amount of cover on the outturn side, at least. And now looking to get a biter on the intern side. Maybe build that Christmas tree look that we've been talking about all weekend. Basically lining up the rocks diagonal to make any possible doubles pretty difficult. But this rock does seem to have a good amount of weight as it's coming into the house here. Will this stick around for second shot? I don't think it will. Yeah, fortunate miss there from Tyler. And Bashford now with definitely some options. Could look to chase shot rock and appears to be the call. Was also, I think, considering opening up the middle.
We are early in the end, though, I wouldn't mind seeing from Cape Cod a freeze attempt on that
I
stone
agree.
if they made it well, or even a couple feet shy, setting them up pretty well for some kind of hit or
Completely
tap
agree.
to sit there.
Completely agree with you, Maggie. And this does, I believe the call was hack weight. Some hand gestures to get this rock over from Bashford, and it does make contact, and it will spill that red out. So a very nice shot from Jamie. Could probably only see about half that rock from the hack. But Team Cape Cod really showing up and showing out in the second half of the game. Coming with all the shots. So the draw attempt is the call for Tyler Holloway, looking to bring down his weight from his last shot.
Quick no from the front end when asked if they liked playing the other turn. They seemed very, very confident about the turn.
Yeah, I think this you have a bit more room on the intern side, and we have seen a few of these shots come down, so Skip Dan McGurk should have a good idea of the line. This rock's coming in definitely a bit narrower.
Sweeper's head indicated the weight was all there.
Yeah, but it's going to click on the top, but does it have enough weight to push this into the rings? It does not.
Tough break. They could have managed to get a little bit more curl out of that. They could have pushed their red to sit behind those yellows. Would have been a very excellent plan.
Potentially. Yep. But those rocks are in a pretty good spot to maybe split into the rings later on. So Jonathan Bashford looking to play an intern draw. I'm a little concerned that shooter might be in the way of this shot, but we will see. I think Dan might have the same concerns in the hack, but maybe potentially looking to come in between the red and the center line. Ooh, this has plenty of line, I think wide of the broom Bashford gave, but this will allow for it to curl around the wide side of this red rock, and this looks actually really nice. This is going to come into the 4-foot area, and I think's it completely buried.
That's a great throw.
Fantastic throw from Dan Smith.
A little open on the center line side. Broomstones looks like they're going to want to make a play on it. Looks like just the freeze, maybe a little tap.
Yeah, looking at the hack view, you can maybe see a sliver of that yellow, but not much. Jonathan Hickey looking to play this possible tap, or even the freeze would be real nice. Line looks really good here. Looks like a little bit of room. Looking to push it over. Will make contact. Spill back of the house. Back 12.
It's tough. That was a tough line call there. They were holding it straight. It was looking like it was cutting over, and it didn't end up cutting that way in the end.
I will say, though, it did punch that yellow rock to a pretty fully exposed location. So definitely accomplished a little out of that shot. And the shooter is still sticking around. So definitely not a bad throw there from Jonathan Hickey. And I believe we're going to see that same wide draw from Dan Smith. Try to get around that red guard. And a shot that was just made from Dan, so he's got to feel pretty confident. Looking like a bit tighter line to me as it comes down the sheet. This might struggle to get around this red. I think it's on it. Doesn't get by, does click off that red, but doesn't do any damage, and it actually covers up shot rock pretty nicely.
Yeah, that is a good result for them. They were just looking to guard that stone, and that is what they got.
Yes. So Yellow's still sitting the one side of the 8 foot on the tee line, just behind tee.
Seeing another hand signal from Broomstones that I, despite playing with this team so much, cannot decipher.
A lot of hand signals.
A lot of hand signals.
But as long as your team knows what it means, it's really all that matters.
Absolutely. I think they're going for a raise on this red. Tap?
Yes. And the line is looking pretty close. The weight
Maybe
might be a
short.
bit quiet. I think it will tap it. And will it raise it into the rings? It does.
That's a tough result.
Does sit third.
They did
yes.
get contact. I think the plan B that you would want out of that, if you don't think you're going to get that raise that you want, is to split it away and try and open that up a bit more. Get some kind of play on that shot. You maybe have a bit of a port to play that run on the one that was just promoted in that rings, but
Yes.
that'd be an extremely tough shot.
Definitely a tough shot. But Team Bashford looking like they're going to play some type of guard based on this ice. I didn't see where exactly they wanted this rock to end up.
I think the guard was the call, and I
Yeah.
think that's a good call. We have a lot of clutter out front of that yellow rock in the middle of the 8 foot.
Yep.
A steal would be huge for this team. So we're in the 6. That would be huge for them.
Absolutely. Probably guarding that tap that Team Broomstones just attempted on that centerline red guard. So probably something just above that. Probably looking for a 2 guard, a middle guard, right on the center line. I think would definitely remove some options for Team Broomstones. Rock is away.
It's a little spicier than 2 guard. I think Dan Smith looking to see if maybe a plan B could be a
Yes,
tap,
looks
but
like
it's
it
way beyond that
looks
line.
like it might make contact with that red, but actually
Not huge. Yeah,
not a
huge.
big tap, and actually doesn't end up in a bad spot, but does now leave that yellow red tap that Drew was looking at. But Dan may be looking at this yellow red on the outside.
I think he's looking at the port here.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure that port is there. That was how he was kind of swinging his broom through that middle there.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
looking at the yellow red.
So trying to make a play at Shot Rock. Definitely a good option if it comes off, as they do have the other red counter in the back 12, and probably trying to make that count.
Yeah, this is Dan's first, so he has 2 opportunities here to try and, or 1 opportunity to try and open things up, and another opportunity to try and score. This is a very precise, difficult shot. You don't have a lot of good options, unfortunately. If you make contact with this rock, but don't make the run exactly as you want, you're only leaving another piece of clutter out there to keep you from the shots going.
Yeah, I think that probably is the call. My only concern is, can you see enough of the red to redirect onto the yellow?
I'm not sure you can.
It's tough. It's very tough. You have to squeak that yellow rock very closely.
Looks kind of doable from the camera view.
Yes, the overhead, it does look doable.
It's a weird broom for that. I think maybe
Oh, looks like maybe a
maybe
change
they're
of heart.
electing to draw. Yeah, you do have that draw available. You for sure have that draw available to sit 1.
Okay. Also maybe looking to play some kind of back line on Shot Rock on this wide side.
Could be the case. They do also have draw on the other side to sit 1. That's something they
Yeah.
failed to look at all.
Oh, it looks like they might be playing this yellow-red as well. There, a lot of opportunities here for this rock. They're on the sweep. It looks like backline weight from here.
Maybe this was the original tap they were looking for.
So they're going to hit the yellow, and it will spill it into the rings, but it is only 3rd shot.
Yeah.
Does leave a potential double on those 2 yellows if Bashford doesn't do anything about it.
That's true. Broomstones does have more options. They've opened
Yes.
up the hit on the shot stone. If this guard is not made perfect, they have a bit of a double kind of an in-off situation
Yeah.
to make a play at shot stone. They've also opened up the side of their red biter that's raisable if they ever needed that.
Yeah, so the ice taken here for Cape Cod is on the boards. So playing some type of wide, either heavy draw or guard. I think you could probably make a play at one of those yellows if you are Cape Cod to either maybe draw in or maybe just play the straight guard. The rock is away. It is a bit narrow, I believe, of line. It is coming dangerously close to maybe raising that red, but it will check up and get a bit of a bounce and a wick. And guard, definitely the nearer yellow rock in the house. But is there a double on those two yellows? It seems as though McGurk is looking at the other side of the rings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were looking first there at some kind of raise. Yanoff is there too. Drew indicating and then Dan indicating also that the draw is there on the other side.
Now looking at that possible double on the other side. But it looks like they're going to opt for this out-turn draw. Taking edge sheet for ice.
I like this call. I think draw is going to be definitely the most simple shot to get your one here. Of course, that's all you need is one. If I were Broomstones, thinking about maybe what we could have done in this end instead, I think drawing on Dan's first would have been huge for
this
them.
Out-turn draw.
Yeah, this out-turn draw on his first to try and sit one would have been good to dial that weight in.
Yeah. I think, if
two shots,
those two yellows on the other side of the house weren't as level, I think we'd probably see Dan play that double, but they are very level and would be a precise shot to remove both of those. So out-turn draw is the call. Line is looking a little tight.
They do have that raise.
They do have a possible raise. It's going to get to that.
For it.
It's going to make contact. They really got to be on this to get it in. It's going to come up a bit short.
That's tough.
And a steal of one for Team Cape Cod.
Fortunately, just the one. That's tough
Just
for Broomstones.
the one. It is a steal, but only a steal of one. So Broomstones will retain the hammer.
My sincere apologies to any Cape Cod fans watching this. I am definitely showing my bias here in the commentator booth.
No.
These are all definitely all this whole Cape Cod team. Of course, I'm very, very familiar with the skip John Bashford, friends with him, and know all of these Cape Cod players as well. Definitely not rooting against them, but great steal for them. Huge for them to score in the sixth end. Take hammer hopefully in the eighth.
Absolutely. So quick look at other sheets. Virginia able to get a steal in the sixth end, and they take a 5-3 lead over Dillon and Team Colonial. On sheet 3, Nashua still maintaining a 5-2 lead over Team Nashville, and on sheet 4, Hartford still with that 5-4 lead over Team Plainfield, as they actually will have a measurement on sheet 4 for two rocks that are biting or in the forefoot. So lead rocks on the featured sheet. A center guard attempt thrown very nicely from Alex, just side of the center line, but a nice tight guard. And Drew Gormley now throwing the out turn that will come into the rings. Top 12, giving Bashford the opportunity to hit this rock.
Yeah, Broomstones kind of has two options for how they want to play this end here with Hammer. They could say, we are going to go hard for the blank. We think we can get our 2, maybe 3 points in the 8th end. If just 2, we can, go for the skip straw at the end there. They could also go for their 2, maybe 3 points here. If they get 2, and say, we can steal in the 8th end. We can take that one in the 8th. So they're looking for that there. So far with the hits, we're probably leaning towards the blank. Some debate on whether or not this Cape Cod Stone is in the rings.
Looks in from the overhead.
Yeah, we're going for the hit.
And
Broomstones
we are going to see a hit.
Yeah, Broomstones maybe thinking the blank could be in play for them here.
Yes. So the hit is called from Dan McGurk. Point to the hip there. I believe that's control.
You got me.
Believe it is control.
I do
given
think
the
it is
ice.
control.
Yes.
Yeah, I do remember constantly seeing that handset and going, "What was that? Is that control?"
You might see some teams have that be their bumper weight, but this looks like bumper to control down, and will hit very close to nose.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit unfortunate it's not roll anywhere, leaving that on the center line.
Yeah, but definitely a rock that can be used later on for Team McGurk.
Mm-hmm.
Bashford looking at a potential tap on his yellow rock, or even the straight come around would be a nice call or a nice outcome. So Jamie Constantino throwing the out turn draw. Line looks pretty good for the tap. And the weight looks pretty good. Looks like maybe a bit quiet. It will get a little baby tap, I believe. Oh, more than a baby tap. It'll tap it to the 8 foot.
Yeah, nice teenager, young adult tap. Yeah.
Yes, definitely a good amount of weight to that tap. So, and it hit very close to nose, so that rock is going to be pretty buried. So, looks like Dan's asking Tyler to remove this yellow guard. We are in the 6th rock of the end, so we can remove guards at this point. Looking to push this over. It does need to cross center line. It's close. And it will just unfortunately breeze by and leave that guard out there. Bashford calling for the removal of that red rock. Getting some options from his teammates.
I'm not quite sure you need to remove that red rock. It's close to the rings. It's certainly tappable. If you were to draw behind, be in the 4 foot, the red it's raisable, but it's still more than 6 feet raised. You'd be sitting in a pretty good shot if you're Cape Cod, getting another counter in play here for sure.
Yeah, I like something soft here to kind of just either clutter up the middle or maybe get that second shot. And this seemed to have plenty of weight. Will make contact with shot rock, spill the shooter to the back 12. So Cape Cod does sit 2. Does move that original shot rock to back of the tee line and fairly exposed from the hack if Dan chooses to make a move at it. Thinking of peeling that yellow center guard, and I believe that's the call. Maybe rolling the shooter with this weight to a corner.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad outcome. I'd almost play the other turn if you're wanting to roll to a corner over there, maybe even possibly get the raise if you're especially lucky, or the raise double.
Line looks pretty good on this rock. Will make contact with that yellow rock, but might nose it. It does roll a bit to the right.
Yeah, we came pretty close to that raise I was talking about. They were
We
holding
did.
that for line if they let it curl a little bit more, you know?
Did.
If only they could hear me.
Yes. But did roll the shooter to a pretty nice spot.
Yeah.
To a corner guard position.
That is a nice corner.
And could be used later. Looks like Bashford's trying to beat Team Broomstones to the punch there and draw around that corner guard. Not a bad option. Potentially looking to sit 3 here without hammer. And this is, we're on Vice Rocks, Dan Smith. Playing the in-turn draw. Good amount of room to make this shot. Seems to be all there, the indication from the sweepers. Maybe a plan B. Looks like we're by that red, so needs this to check. We'll definitely be back house, if not all the way through, and I think it is all the way through. Unfortunate miss from Dan Smith. And an opportunity for Broomstones to either make a play at shot rock, and it looks like that's what they'll do with hack weight. So that is the call for the Vice Jonathan Hickey. Call is back line to hack. This rock is coming over. It looks close. Trying to keep here, kind of keep it on. Sweeper is on it, and it will make nice contact with that yellow shot rock. Sit right there. Very nice shot from Jonathan Hickey. And red now sitting 1.
Yeah, maybe not the most ideal position for them. I think you might have been looking to roll either way, either under your guard or away. Cape Cod could make a play at this red and potentially be undercover afterwards.
Yeah, choosing to play a bit more weight at this, as it did roll a little bit over from that red guard. So Dan looking to play probably close to normal weight at this. Looks a bit narrow. Will the sweepers be able to hold this? It's going to be close. Believe it will hit that guard. And where will that guard end up? Will it hit that yellow rock? No. But will it be second shot?
Yeah.
Very close. I think yellow
no.
is still second, but
Yeah.
that red is touching the paint, which could come back to be very important.
Absolutely. Broomstones slowly getting closer and closer to getting in a good position for a multiple point score here.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're sitting 1, throwing. Looks like McGurk is calling for an out-turn draw.
Uh-huh. A little disappointing to me that they're not using that corner guard.
You beat me to the spot, Maggie. I was going to say, you have your corner guard there. You could sit around cover.
Yeah, you did make an excellent roll on that hit to get that very beautiful corner guard.
Yes, and this one,
Very neglected corner guard.
this one I think is going to come up light of the rings, but guard shot rock pretty nicely.
That is a good result there. That's a good. The upside to that shot for sure is if you are short, you are now guarding your
Yes.
shot rock for sure.
So now on skip rocks, Jonathan Bashford weighing his options, looking to maybe freeze to that red rock. Believe that will be the call on the outturn side. Definitely an aggressive call here.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's a much better call. You can see a little sliver. You can maybe make a play at that, but I think peeling either one of those guards, especially the one that was just thrown, kind of leaves you in the same dangerous position you were just in a rock ago.
Yep. And I think Jonathan, would prefer to play more of a finesse type of shot. So I think this is definitely in his wheelhouse. Playing the outturn draw. Seems to have plenty of line. Sweepers are on it, probably for weight, but does need to come over. We'll get some late finish with that light handle. And sweepers are on it now for distance. This rock is getting closer to the rock, but will stay a bit short. But sit second shot.
That is a
Top 8.
is a pretty good rock. If you were gonna be short, that's fine. You just maybe would have tucked a bit more of a piece there.
Yeah.
You can hit this for your Broomstones.
I'd be shocked if Dan didn't hit this, but there
would
is
be
some
too.
discussion. Yes, that seems to be the call. Obviously, there is a risk of a jam on your shot rock.
You're definitely gonna want to look to not hit this on the center line side for sure.
Yes. So I think opting to maybe play the in turn. So some discussion here. Looks like they will go with the out turn hit and play it tight to that yellow rock. Really trying to cross the face and potentially roll around that corner guard. Kind of set up that Christmas tree formation. So a big shot here for Dan McGurk, throwing his first. Really looking to set up a multiple end here with hammer. And I do like the ice here given how little finish we've seen on these hits on the center line. So rock is away.
Narrow out of hand.
Little narrow out of hand.
Oh, they do well to maybe push this over, hit the
Looks
far
like
side of the
it's
red. That's not
Gonna
possible.
hit this high red
Yeah.
corner guard. Where will the shooter go? Will spill over and out of the playing area. Is in play, but not in the rings. And will leave Bashford with an open hit on shot rock. And an opportunity to sit 3.
That's
So if this hit is made, definitely the force is on.
that's tough for Broomstones. They're not totally dead in the water. I mean, I can't really tell between those two backbiters. It's possible that red could be out counting. If there's some kind of
Close.
double, you could maybe play that for 2. But
Well, first things first, I gotta make this hit.
That's
and
true.
Boy, oh boy, this looks a bit narrow. Dan screaming his lungs out, but I think this is gonna come over and actually knock the second shot out of play. Knocks their other yellow, and oh boy, absolute disaster for Team Cape Cod. It's gonna leave an open draw for 3. And what a turn of events.
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate miss for Cape Cod.
Unfortunate result.
Broomstones is racing down the ice to
My
further draw.
goodness, what a turn. And an open draw for 3 for Team McGurk out of nowhere. And an opportunity to take the lead if they make this draw.
The beauty of 5 and under curling, folks. You really never know until the hammer's thrown.
You just don't know. But we'll set up a very exciting finish. So the draw from Dan McGurk just needs to touch paint to secure his 3. Rock is away. Tyler is on the sweep. Seems to think it's all there. Might have some backing on their own if they need it.
Yeah, they do have a little wicker, a little
But
tap on their
I
own to slow
think
themselves
this
down.
is looking nice. Will caress against shot rock. Sit 3. And Broomstones with a big score of 3
Great shot.
takes the lead going into the last end. After 7, Broomstones 7, Cape Cod 6. taking a look at other sheets. Team Virginia with another steal in the 7th end, and are now leading 7-4, 7-3, 6-3. I'll get it right eventually.
6-3 after 7.
I'm just so amazed at what we saw on sheet 2. 6-3 lead for Virginia playing the last end. Sheet 3, Nashua nursing a tight 5-4 lead over Team Nashville as they play the last end. So very close game there. And then on sheet 4, Hartford with a steal in 6 and finishing up the 7th right now, actually, with Skip Rock to come. Yellow sitting, I believe, 3 over there. So Plainfield really needing a clutch draw on their last to stay in the game. So we'll keep an eye on that. But we'll keep, I think, the action right here on sheet 2 as we're gonna.
Pretty exciting game.
We're gonna be coming down to the wire, and you know, between these two teams, I don't think we could have expected anything else.
For sure. We're starting off hot here in the 8th. Drew Gormley with the center guard. When you're playing the 8th up 1 without hammer, you're basically playing the steal. Any point at all is not ideal. Not ideal.
Absolutely.
For any points here.
And Team Cape Cod looking to either play a corner guard or something towards the wings. They will come into the rings and allow for a hit for Drew Gormley. Another hit opportunity.
Lead hits.
An important one at that. So.
Yeah, this is a good call. A hit and roll would be huge.
Yep.
Almost wouldn't mind necessarily throwing a second center guard. It'd be pretty aggressive, but wouldn't be a wrong call either.
Yeah, I think I'd go for this hit probably. You know, if it's wide open, you might as well make a move at it. So Drew playing the intern hit. Tyler on it immediately for line, but I think it's looking pretty close.
Definitely making contact.
Definitely will make contact. Where will the roll go?
Oh,
Pretty nice
sweet.
roll. Pretty nice
Yeah.
roll towards the 4-foot.
Nice roll. They could have let that curl a little bit more, sweat that roll at the end there,
Yep.
get under their center line guard.
Definitely a nice roll. Bashford able to make a play at this, and will try to make that same hit and flop undercover with Alex Senatori, his second. Rock is away, looking like good normal weight, and looking for some late finish. Appears it'll make contact but roll away, but not a bad result as we have an empty house.
Sheet 4, it looks like that draw was not made.
Yes.
Yellow steal for Hartford. Not sure how many, but enough to end the game.
Enough to end the game, and yes, handshakes on sheet 4. Other 2 games are still going in the last end. We'll definitely keep an eye on those. But Broomstones here with an opportunity to draw around that center guard and try to sit top 4. So Tyler Holloway playing the intern draw. Rock is away. Sweepers seem to like the speed, just cleaning the rock. And the line looks real nice. It will get around the center guard, just barely, but the weight is really nice. A very nice shot there from Tyler.
Incredible shot.
Top 4 completely buried, and gonna force Team Cape Cod to peel that center guard. So Jamie looking to play the peel. Definitely a shot in his wheelhouse. Rock is away. Good normal weight on this. Looks like it might be over curling. Looking to hit the other side. And it will.
That'll work
So
just
makes
fine.
the peel on the low side. So mission accomplished from Jamie. And yes, so Dan McGurk looking to replace that center guard. And we might see a series of these shots if continued to be made.
Yeah, if everybody makes their shots here, we're probably going to see a couple more guards and ribs.
Absolutely. So Tyler Holloway looking to replace that center guard. Throwing the out-turn path. Line is looking pretty good, more on the outside side, so gonna need to finish this to get to the center line. Looking like a tight guard, might even come into the rings. Comes just a bit short of the rings, but does leave shot rock, I would say, half exposed. Bashford opting to just remove the top, which is not a bad call. Jamie looking to peel this guard away.
Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily mind chasing. I think peeling's a great call. Chasing, of course, playing it a little tight, high likelihood.
Tell you what, this is
anyway.
going to get after shot rock.
All right.
And be a fine result.
Yeah.
I believe the peel of the guard was the call, but that was always an option.
It's the same either way. Going for the chase and playing it a little tight, error on the tight side, possibly make the peel is, ultimately exactly the same shot as going for the peel, erring a little wide, maybe making the chase.
Knowing Jamie, he probably wanted to make a play at shot rock and maybe made an executive decision. So possibly. But an empty house right now with just that tight center guard. And Jonathan Hickey looking to draw around.
Kind of wide. They're going to want to get a good amount of curl here.
Should get some good finish.
Yeah, should finish at the end.
Looks a bit heavy to me. Might be back house, but trying to finish it around the guard. It will stay fairly exposed. Behind T-line, Bashford choosing to play a hit on shot rock. Could also freeze if he decided to. But trying to keep the house as quiet as possible. Or empty, I should say. So Dan Smith probably looking to play, based on the broom, some type of control weight hit on shot rock. Rock is away, and the sweepers are on it. This should get by the guard. Oh, it's close. Cutting it close to the guard. It does wick. And might have even pushed it onto the rings, which is important. I think it is on. Just, I think, a missed sweep call there. Unfortunately. Yeah, just I think trying to cut that a bit too close to get the roll and got some late finish. So Jonathan Hickey, a chance to throw another center guard.
This line looks pretty similar to how they were coming last time, so it should be pretty good for a guard here. Or last rock. Should be pretty well.
Yeah, this is nice. This is going to be, I believe, right on the center line. Nice tight guard, guarding shot rock.
Yeah, that's a
the one saving grace for Bashford is that rock in the house is back four, so can outdraw that rock, and potentially use it as backing. As we have a result on sheet one, looks like Virginia was able to finish that game out and will take a berth into, is it the B event?
That's it. That is the C.
C.
They will face the winner of our game, our feature sheet here.
Rock coming in from Dan Smith. Draw attempt looking really handsome. It'll clear the top center guard, come into the forefoot. A little heavy, but nestles up against shot rock and will sit back four, totally buried. Does leave the same draw for Dan McGurk. But a clutch draw from Dan Smith. What great action here.
Yeah.
Can't ask for anything more. So this is going to be a pseudo game of mixed doubles here. We're going to see a number of draws to the pin. An all-out blitz to get to the pin here. Taking just inside edge 12, close to middle of the 12 for ice. Does have the option to freeze, but would probably leave Bashford the opportunity to freeze on that rock if he were to be a bit heavy. So I think top 4 is the call.
Yeah, top 4 biting top button
Top
would be a
button.
great result here.
So, Dan McGurk playing his first in-turn draw. Line is looking pretty good on this. Sweepers are on it.
Pretty wide. They're
Little wide.
looking to curl it here for sure.
Looking to get this over. Weight looks close though. This is going to walk in. And it comes into the 4-foot. It will be shot rock. And it sits pretty much right on the tee line. And is fairly exposed from the hack as we look at it. Probably can see at least 75% of that rock. So an opportunity, if Bashford chooses to maybe play a bit more weight if he opts for it. Maybe something like hack or back line. But also the straight draw, back 4 weight should be able to push that red rock back. That rock is ever so slightly behind tee line. So the straight draw to the face would be very close to shot rock. But given the broom, I think we're going to see a bit more weight in an attempt to come under cover. So if I had to guess, maybe hack weight might be the call.
I think, yeah, it looks like a hack or back line call here. Yeah, as mentioned earlier, just a little draw, tap, kind of back 4 weight. I wouldn't mind. I'd be really concerned if I were Cape Cod, really watching out for just kind of chipping that red and bouncing over. You certainly don't want to move that red anymore.
Yes, the rock is away, and it is looking pretty good on line. The sweepers are on it, trying to get this inside flop. It is by the top, and it's gonna get the flop under.
Excellent shot.
Very nice shot from Jonathan Bashford. Does sit exposed and is sitting 2, which is another important feature to that shot. So Team McGurk is gonna have to at least be sitting second here for the game to continue. Pretty open lightweight tap opportunity available. Definitely looking at their options. There is a potential chance to make a play at both of these yellows. But I think the straight heavy draw to the face of that yellow is probably the most practical call. But they could opt to play a bit more weight. Based on that line, I think they're going to play something that Bashford just played. Some kind of hack weight shot. Heat 3 also coming down the wire. might have the opportunity to pan to that one. But we'll obviously stick right here for the end of this game. Seems to be more discussion as Dan went to the hack. And they will opt for the shot they discussed. Some type of backline to hack tap on shot rock. Would like to get to nose as close as possible to sit around that center guard. But does again need to at least be second shot after this rock for Bashford to throw his last.
Yeah, that's goal number one for sure. Whether you're buried or shot or not, you want to make sure you're making Bashford throws.
Rock is away. Looking like hack weight. Sweepers are on it.
Got plenty of room by
Looks
the guard.
like room by the guard. Looking to get some late finish to get to nose. It will hit the outside of the rock. Jam on the back. Yellow is sitting one. And an opportunity to draw the forefoot to get his second counter and win the game. Very quick decision with the broom on this. And widening his broom. Looked like we're just going to see the straight draw and not any hit attempt on that red. And really just needs to nestle this into the forefoot. Has plenty of backing. Can even probably be a bit heavy and use that red backing.
Yeah, you can always tick and roll off.
Yep. Or even just come to his own. So a lot of opportunities here. Jonathan Bashford throwing his last. Looking to win the game here. Rock is away. It looks all there to me.
Very spicy.
But will get some late finish with his light handle.
Absolutely.
Might even get a wick off this red. And does look like he is on the inside of this red. And I think this is going to work.
Oh, great
Rolls
shot.
right to the pin. And a score of 2 for Jonathan Bashford. And a comeback win as Cape Cod will take this one 8-7. In a fantastic game between two local teams here. Both teams should be very proud. Very, very close game. And a lot of respect between these two teams. Very exciting finish to our early draw here on Sunday morning at the Dykes. And Team Cape Cod will now go to the C event final and play Team Virginia. Awesome game between these two teams. But the drama is not over as we shift to sheet 3. Sheet 3. Lots of rocks in play. Nashua leading by 1 with last rock. But this is Nashville's last. The house situation is yellow is sitting 1, but red is sitting 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all around the forefoot. But with so many guards in play, it's going to be difficult to get to shot rock. And is attempting a long run back on these yellow rocks. Looking like the best outcome for Nashville is hitting that yellow rock close to nose, redirecting onto another yellow, and hopefully spilling the yellow shot rock out of the forefoot. But last rock for Team Nashville on the way. Outturn, firm weight, needs to curl. Will hit the outside of this yellow. Oh, just skeets by. Oh, it will hit shot rock and spill it back to the forefoot. And red will be sitting 2. Not the intended call, but can't complain about the result. And now Pendleton of Nashua is gonna need to play maybe a soft weight tap on one of those top 4 rocks to score as 1. But as play stands now, red is sitting 2 and would steal this win if it remains this way. Looking at a lot of different opportunities here for Nashua. Looking at a potential yellow-red run. Looking at the angles, I think there should be enough room to come between that red and yellow on the intern side, and you really just need to move those rocks a little bit. But maybe another opportunity is a slash on that top 12 yellow rock. But these reds are positioned very nicely for Nashville, top 4. So very difficult for Pendleton to outcount those 2 rocks. So it looks like we're gonna see a yellow raise. So similar to the shot that Nashville just tried, ironically enough. So big drama here at the end of our first draw on Sunday. Nashua throwing their last rock, looking for a yellow raise. This is over curling and will not do the job. Nashville is going to steal this win with a score of 2 in the last and take this one 6-5 over Team Nashua. What an ending. So, very exciting stuff here to conclude our first round of games here on Sunday, the final day at the Dykes. And for all the curling fans out there, we have one more draw, and it is the final draw. All 4 events will be played at 11:30 this morning, so just over an hour from now. We'll have all 4 events, A, B, C, and D, on the sheet here at Broomstones. And the featured sheet will be the A final between Team Broomstones, Albin Saliku, and Team Schenectady, Team Aloypen. And I will be on the call for that one as well. So very exciting action to come to supplement what we've already seen here for all your curling excitement. So we hope you'll stick with us. But we thank you for joining this morning as we'll log off for now and prepare the ice for the finals. My name is Matt Hughes. My co-commentator this morning was Maggie Woolsey. And we will see you in just over an hour for the final draw at the 2024 Francis Dykes Memorial Bonspiel. We hope we'll see you then. Take care for now. Bye-bye.